All right, so before I go back into sort of fleshing this pattern out, actually, you know what? I will just go right back into it. So the next level of derivation here is that I want to kind of put a degree of variation into my pattern, essentially, right? So I don't want all of these gradients to show exactly the same on all of my panels. I I want to do basically I want to start to remove some of the dots from the pattern. Okay, and so what I'm gonna use for that is under set and sequence. I'm gonna use Cull Pattern, or we could use random reduce, but generally speaking, um, as sort of like a design disclaimer, if you guys are using this for a design, you should never, ever, 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 ever say the word random. Never. It's a bad word in design. Never random. So Cull Pattern is a little bit better because then we actually have some kind of logic or sequence that we're using in order to remove these elements. So anyway, we're going to use Cull Pattern, and it's going to only ask for for two things: the list that you want to cull, and then it's going to ask for the pattern to cull. And so the pattern, right? You guys are used to this by now. Is false, false, true, true right now. So that's called a Boolean pattern or a Boolean mask. And so we need to generate enough numbers that it's going to remove these elements. Okay, so I couldn't necessarily tell you what that pattern should actually be. It's I guess it's kind of difficult to, without having a design, it's really difficult to just to justify an actual pattern. So it is going to feel kind of random. I want to put this out as a secondary disclaimer. This is going to feel random because I don't have anything designed concept-wise that's generating my pattern. So I'm just going to do a bunch of zeros and ones or trues and falses. But when you are designing, you will develop some logic that's going to create this pattern. So anyway, the list to cull is going to be this list of elements. Okay, so I'm going to plug in the values here. So the geometry is going to plug into L. And what do you notice right off the bat? I have cull selected. What do you notice right away?
Like groups them in two rows and then goes out the other one.
Right. It groups them in rows of two, and then it either deletes them or keeps them. So if we want it to be random, or if we want it to have a logic throughout the overall pattern, then we need to flatten the list, the entire list, because then, and it's still going to be in twos just because of the pattern that we have, but then it's actually going to cut out every two items. So it's going to keep, it'll be false, false, true, true, false, false, true, true, all the way down through the pattern itself. And it actually looks like it's not reading properly, to be honest. Oh, because it's going this way. It's going that way. That's right. That's true. So basically what it's saying is, I think it actually starts from the bottom right. Yeah. So it's saying, where is it starting? Anyway, I don't know where it's starting, but it is going in the direction of the row. So while it looks like it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row here being removed, it's actually not, because it's going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So that's how it's reading the order of these points. And you could do a point list if you really needed to figure that out. So anyway, then we need to develop the pattern. And for me, the pattern, I'm going to do basically a Boolean mask and then repeat data in order to make sure it's going to happen that many times. Oh, this is a new tool. So this is under set and sequence. So I'm going to use a panel, and in that panel I'm just going to kind of do a pattern. So I'm going to say 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. You know, another 0 and a 1. You don't have to match mine exactly. I just made one. You know, it's just a pattern. It'll change. You'll change it. I'll change it. Whatever. So this is going to be the pattern. I'll plug that in, and I'll turn off everything else from beforehand that relates to it. But notice here that it's. Oh, that's right. It is. It is going to repeat the pattern automatically, won't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I forgot that it actually will repeat the pattern automatically. So I noticed that, you know, it's not exactly as dense as I would like it to be. And so maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of just go through and start changing some of my ones or zeros to ones, which essentially means it's not going to remove that item. There we go. And so I'll keep this one. That looks dense enough for me. And it makes them all different too, right? So every single one of your panels is entirely different because that pattern is just jumping from one panel to the next as it reaches the end. What questions do you have?
Is this considered dynamic?
Right now it's not really dynamic. Yes?
I'm getting an error when I put the list in.
Okay, I'll come troubleshoot. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and then the next thing I'm going to move into, unless you guys are just getting like dreadfully bored of working with this particular exercise, I want to show you how to then structure this list so that every panel can be the same, which you couldn't do this way before.